Todd Fleming, and I am the host for Tech MBA Minute. And I'm here today with Ari, the owner and founder of Zingerman's. And so it's a great story, and I would love to be able to talk to you just so we can share with our community. So my first question is, how does Zingerman start? What is the foundation? What's the story? And just to give us just a little more background.
Absolutely. Well, I got to rewind a long ways. It's 28 years now.
Okay.
But I grew up in Chicago. I came up to Ann Arbor to go to school. I studied Russian history.
Okay.
After I graduated, I kind of just knew I didn't want to go home. I didn't really know what I was going to do. One of my roommates was waiting tables at a restaurant in town, and it seemed like a good place to work, so I went there to get a job. The only job they had at the time was washing dishes, so I took it. And I had no thoughts of opening a business, my family's all teachers, doctors, lawyers, psychologists, so the undergrad degree was just a stepping stone to a graduate degree.
Okay.
Unfortunately for my grandmother, I never quite made it to the graduate degree, but anyways, that's how I started, and I feel really lucky because I really just stumbled into a line of work that I really love. It's very clear to me there's not enough years left to do all the learning about food and organizations that I want to do, and then also I stumbled into some great people. So Paul Saginaw, who's been my partner in this since the beginning, was the general manager at that restaurant. That's how we met, and then we're going to talk about Zing Train, I think, maybe, but Maggie Bayless, who's one of the partners in there, was a waitress.
Okay.
And Frank Carolla, who's one of our partners in the bakehouse, was a line cook. So I feel really fortunate. Here we are 32 years later, whatever, that we still like each other. We're partners, and we enjoy working together. So I started cooking and prepping and running kitchens, and I worked for that company for about 4 years. And then Paul and I gave a couple months notice. I didn't know what I was going to do.
Okay.
Paul and I had talked off and on about opening something together.
Okay.
And he called me a couple of days after I gave notice and said the building where the deli was opening up and we should look at it. And we opened up March 15th, '82.
Okay. Because I know that there is a lot of history with Zingerman. I can even remember my mother talking about Zingerman's Deli, and so I know there are a lot of business. It has developed, obviously past the deli. What are some of the other businesses that Zingerman's is in?
Well, when we opened, it was only me and Paul and 2 employees and 25 seats, 1,300 square foot space. Today, the organization, we have about 500 employees. We do a whole range of different things. So the deli has expanded a few times. It's still the biggest business, but we have Zingerman's Bakehouse. We wholesale traditionally made breads and pastries all over the area. We have a mail order business. We ship food all over the country. We have a little creamery, so we make handmade cheese and gelato, which is the Italian style of ice cream. We have a little coffee roasting business like we're drinking right now.
Okay.
We've got Zing Train, which is our training business. We got a little candy manufacturing, so we started making handmade candy bars, which are fantastic. And then Zingerman's Roadhouse is our sit-down restaurant. It's all regional American food, so everything from fried chicken to oysters to wild rice from the Native American tribes up in Minnesota. Fried cheese curds, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Wow.
So we got a lot going on.
Definitely, And so today is Zingerman like a $38 million
Yeah, we'll be about 36 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Something else, I know you guys do a lot of stuff, and I'm not sure how many people know about Zing Train, which is a training component of what you do. And I know that that today you're doing a seminar called Open Book Finance. And when I began to read about that was really interesting to me. Can you give us just a little more feedback in terms of really how that?
It's a system that we learned from a company in Springfield, Missouri called Springfield Remanufacturing. Their whole story and the way they got this whole program started is in a book called Great Game of Business by Jack Stack and Bo Burlingham. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
We learned it from them, and we've adapted it and kind of morphed it into our own version, and now we teach our own seminars on it. Basically it's a system. I think people hear the name and they think it just means you show the employees the financial statements. That certainly is one small element of it, but I guess the best way I could describe it in a way that's meaningful is to get clear is that open book finance is a participative sport. It's not a spectator sport.
Okay.
So that means all the people working in the business are actively responsible for and are actively managing and running the numbers. So it's not just they all come to the meeting and they get to see what's on there.
Okay.
This is like they're on the field,
okay,
not just reading the box score.
Okay.
Okay. And so the seminar that we do, this 2-day seminar, and we do other seminars in Zing Train too on leadership and service and training systems and that sort of thing. But this one is about how we do this and how you get the employees trained, how you get them to think really like owners, and then you get them to be running the numbers. And we're still in there as leaders. It's not like we go away.
Okay.
But the key is that everybody knows the rules by which business is played. They understand the difference between cash and profit. They understand what a balance sheet is. They start to understand what a sale is, what taxes are, all the things that owners are used to thinking about, but employees are really not paying attention to. They start to understand. And so, you know, and then you're keeping score. So we do huddles every week. People own lines, which means they're responsible for their numbers, and so you have a whole group of people that, you know, they're out there playing the game. They're talking about whatever, how many 3-point shots we need to make this week, or how many points we're down in the fourth quarter, and what do we got to do in order to win the game.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. It would be really cool if Wall Street played by some of those same rules. I think we probably would be in a little better shape from the housing market, looking at the market as well. Too,
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I'm not on Wall Street, so I don't know how to do their business. But you know, one of the basic premises of open book, which we found to be true, I mean, is just because it's open, somebody's going to be sitting in a room, and when somebody starts doing something kooky, which we all have done, it's not malicious necessarily, but we start going off course and off course and off course, and if nobody corrects course, pretty soon you're on another planet, which is sort of what happened. And open book means there's some secretary or some truck driver or whatever who works there who goes, I don't really understand that. It doesn't seem like it adds up.
Okay.
And that didn't get to happen because it's not that kind of a setting.
Okay. Question for you: in terms of someone wanting to get into their passion and loving what you do, what is maybe a quick tip that you would have for that?
Well, I think, you know, for us, it's really a lot about driving from the inside out.
Okay.
So it's less what other people tell you you should do and more what you want to do.
Okay.
That said, I'm not from the you just pursue your passion, everything's going to be great.
Okay.
I mean, open book finance means you still got to win.
Okay.
So, like, you know, like I mean, I'm very interested in basketball, but I'm not any particularly good at it. So, you know, just getting out on the court just because I like it, I'm going to be history pretty quick. So, it's important that, you know, that you do have some skills, but to understand that, you know, within the range of the world's skills, there's a lot that you can learn. And very few of us start out being good in it, much of anything.
Okay.
And that if you believe in something and you have and then the other thing we teach is to write a vision, which is a picture of what success is going to look like down the road.
Okay.
And that we actually determine that based on, you know, what we believe to be inspiring for us has got to be strategically achievable, so it can't just be a fantasy. But if you really document and you really come clear with yourself and with your coworkers or colleagues or investors or whatever on what success looks like, you got a much higher chance of getting there.
Okay, good. And then our last question, I want you to talk about the value of education.
Okay. Well, I'm in there teaching a 2-day seminar right now, so we're huge believers in it. You know, I think there's any number of ways to get it. I mean, it could be going to a big university, but it could be going to community college. It could be coming to Zing Train. It could be doing self-learning. I mean, there's any number of ways to do it. I read constantly. I'm always walking around with a pile of books, and you know, I got more books to read than I'm going to ever get through because they're writing them faster than I can read them. But but we're very big believers. I mean, and the belief thing is, I actually just wrote an essay about belief. But you know, a year ago, when all the economic stuff was at its worst, we actually decided to spend more on training, not less. And I can tell you, as you already know, I mean, most companies were cutting out training because it's the first thing to get rid of. We actually said, okay, our employees really are what makes it work. We do believe in them, and we actually did a whole program around this open book finance training that we called a tune-up. That if people went back to the classes because you want refresher courses, that we would actually bonus them for going back. And you know what? We came out of it in pretty good shape, and not everybody did.
Okay, good. Now, if someone wanted to find out more information about Zingerman's,
Yeah.
I guess, what is the best way to be able to get that information?
Well, we're all over the web. We got about 8. All those businesses got their own websites. The Zing Train stuff is at zingtrain.com, and I have the training seminars. I teach a lot of them, as does Maggie and some of the other people. Zingermanscommunity.com will have sort of the more, if people are interested in our background and some, good press articles they want to clip and that sort of thing. And then, the mail orders at zingermans.com and on down the road. So, and then across the top of the bars, they'll see all the other businesses, so you can click back and forth from one to the other.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Ari.
It was my pleasure.
Really appreciate the, just the time. And then I'm actually drinking an actual cup of coffee. Pretty tasty here. So, so for you who didn't know, the Zingerman was in the coffee as well, that they do have that to offer. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, anytime.
All right.